Arsenal's season has suffered another blow. Weeks after welcoming back their star boy, their star centre-back has suffered some unfortunate news. So today we'll get the breaking update on Gabriel Magalhães, find out what's happening with Yuri and Timber. We'll also get a massive breakdown on Viktor Gyökeres, find out which player Andrea Berta has in a meeting with, as well as getting all the latest team news ahead of Arsenal's trip to Goodison Park. Yo, what is going on guys? My name is Baz14, welcome back to your boys channel, and as the hamstring curse continues, let's just say we've got a lot to break down. So as per, smash a like on this video if you enjoy it and subscribe to the channel if you are new. But starting off with the breaking injury updates. After Arsenal beat Fulham 2-1, the return of the star boy was nice, Martinelli was firing and there was so many positives. The concern for many Arsenal fans after the game was regarding two players, Yuri and Timber and Gabriel Magalhães. With Timber going off in the second half in the 77th minute, despite suffering an injury in the first half, Mikel Arteta chose to keep him on, confirming after the game that Timber was set to be assessed. Now according to the reliable Sam C, Timber has only suffered a knock and he is now expected to be fine. Exactly what I thought was going to happen, this injury was always less severe. But in terms of Gabriel Magalhães, a day after the game you had his wife speaking about his injury, confirming that he was not at the event as he was having scans with the doctors. Come the following day we then got the unfortunate bomber, Fabrizio Romano confirming the breaking news. Gabriel Magalhães is set to be out until the end of the season, requiring surgery on his hamstring injury. He will not be available until the start of next season, with Arsenal confirming it via an official club statement. Injury FC. In a season full of so many injuries, the curse continued. From Tomiyasu to Martinelli, Odegaard and Calafiori, a front three of Saka, Jesus and Havertz, and now our star centre-back. In the business end of the season as a massive game against Real Madrid approaches, Arsenal's current injury list is massive. From Gabriel to Ben White, Timber, Calafiori, Tomiyasu, Havertz and Jesus. According to Fabrizio, Gabriel is now set to undergo surgical repair procedure to his hamstring in the coming days. The Brazilian defender will immediately begin his recovery and rehab program, with the aim to be ready for the start of next season. The third Arsenal player to be ruled out for the entire season. Teams always get injuries, but the issue for Arsenal has been the length of time that these players have been missing. Ben White 4 months, Saka 3 months, Odegaard for 2, with Jesus, Havertz and Gabriel out for the season. Don't even get me started on Takahiro Tomiyasu. So when it comes to Mikel Arteta and the questions around his future, I want to ask you guys in the comments, what manager in world football is able to thrive in a scenario where so many key players are missing and able to find any level of continuity? People will talk about the fact if Gabriel has been overplayed, but when looking into the top 15 most used players in the Premier League this season, not a single Arsenal player features. Even during the international break where Gabriel was on duty, let's not forget that he missed the second game and returned early after being out via suspension. The key thing for me though is the fact that it's another hamstring injury, as Gabriel became the third Arsenal player to require surgery after Saka and Kai Havertz. The truth behind it is actually quite shocking. When looking in terms of the Premier League, it shows that the entire league is actually suffering. Apart from teams like Brighton and Southampton, look at Chelsea and Spurs, and you'll notice that Arsenal's 5 hamstring injuries is not even the worst, with Gabriel suffering the 119th hamstring injury of the season after last year's 163, the highest figure recorded in the last 5 years. Having recently been invited to the training ground, your boy was actually lucky enough to see the stuff behind the scenes, given a tour of what these Arsenal players have available. Machines that check your hamstring strength on a consistent basis. I'll tell you right now, the issue is not the technology, it's how many times these players are being asked to play, whether for club and country, with all the travelling across the world as well. You think about Rodri's interview at the start of the season, a player that had barely missed a single minute over the past 5 years, talking about the fear of being overplayed. With the Club World Cup this year and the World Cup next year, maybe Jurgen Klopp had a point over the past few years consistently highlighting the main issue being the footballing schedule. As fans, all we can do is watch football, but for these players that are playing week in, week out, weekend and then midweek, then flying all across the world to South America, this year Arsenal have truly felt the effects, having now lost another important player. With Gabriel in the side, Arsenal averages 60.5 win percentage, dropping all the way down to 40 when absent. The issue for Arsenal is actually the replacements. Having signed Ricardo Calafiori in the summer, a player that has previously thrived as a left-footed centre-back, he is currently out with the knee issue. Then you've got Ben White, who could also play but was not available in the last game. Takahiro Tomiyasu has played only 1 game all season, and you start to wonder how are Arsenal going to replace him. Will Mikel Arteta turn towards Jakub Kiwior, the player that came off the bench in the game against Fulham, with a massive game against Real Madrid looming? Forwards like Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Junior and Rodrigo. Arsenal do have a heritage of going to the Bernabeu with the likes of Philip Senderoff and still finding a way to win. But the issue is back then we had Thierry Henry, with the likes of Robert Pires and Cesc Fabregas, attacking quality that can win you a game, whereas this year our attack has been stale, lacking moments or relying more on the system. For me, this has to be the back four. Moving Saliba to the left-hand side, playing Ben White on the right, with no reports of Ben White's injury being serious. That's a back four that I still believe in, with Saliba having the experience of playing on the left-hand side with France. Arsenal fans, talk to me down below in the comments. With Gabriel Magalhães ruled out for the entire season, what defence would you line up with? because in terms of the hamstring curses even going to our players on loan, the prime example being Reece Nelson at Fulham. According to reports, despite being on loan, has now returned to the Arsenal training centre in order to return to full fitness, with Reece then confirming it himself, posting a photograph of the Arsenal gym as he continues his recovery from his hamstring surgery. In terms of the wide forwards, there have been some reports, the main topic being Nico Williams. As according to Sky Sports, Arsenal have reignited their interest in the Atletico Bilbao player ahead of a big summer for Mikel Arteta and the transfer market, with even an exclusive from Graham Bailey confirming the decision over Arsenal wanting a new winger has been made before Berta arrived, and is now a call that he agrees with. Kudus, Cunha, Mbeumo Sane, Jacob Ramsey, Bueno, Jeremy Pino and Gula are on the club's radar. However, Nico Williams is at the top of that list. We've talked about the profile, we know about the individual quality, but the issue for Arsenal is less about the release clause, it's more about the wages. At 21 years of age, despite showing so much promise, his numbers are far from being a superstar, with just 9 goals and 7 assists this season, 4 goals and 5 assists in La Liga. That's why we need to talk about the wages. As according to Ed Aarons, Arsenal are exploring a summer move for Nico Williams, after Andrea Berta held talks with the Spanish forwards representatives in one of his first acts as sporting director. But according to Sam Dean, sources have told the Telegraph that Nico Williams' representatives would expect him to be placed in the same bracket as top earners as Odegaard, Havertz, Rice and Saka, who are believed to be earning in the region of £250,000 a week. Why that is because he's earning so much already in Bilbao, a club that has a policy of only signing players that are either born or have trained in the Basque country, making the players they currently have even more valuable. Without the ability to go abroad, sign players from outside the Basque country, there's a reason why they value Nico Williams so highly. A team that currently sits 4th in La Liga, set to re-enter the Champions League. I think Nico Williams is an incredible talent, but will Arsenal want to compromise? Put Williams on the same wage bracket as superstars like Bukayo Saka? A question that needs to be asked, especially when we think about our current wide forwards. After Gabriel Martinelli dropped a masterclass against Fulham, maybe trying to impress Andrea Berta was watching in the crowd. Not only was Martinelli direct, but he was also fearless, taking on Castagne time and time again, despite reports coming out of Saudi Arabia of potential interest. At just 23 years of age, I don't know why I see Arsenal fans capping Martinelli's potential. This is a player that can still be a very useful asset, and with just a bit more confidence, as we saw against Fulham, he's a player that can be very friendly. So come this summer transfer window, if Arsenal are going to let go of a wide forward, I'd much rather it be someone like Leandro Trossard, a player aging with market value dropping. Even if Arsenal then go and sign a wide forward, the idea of starting someone else over Gabriel Martinelli, him then coming on against tired legs, it could be a very scary prospect. Moving on to the Viktor Gyökeres update, the Swedish sensation that has been on fire for Sporting Lisbon this season. 42 goals in 42 games, make that 43. With Gyökeres on the score sheet once again, as Sporting beat Rio out of 2 goals to 0, in a game that he dropped an 8.9 rating, firing off a total of 7 shots, completing a whopping 7 out of 10 dribbles, 6 key passes and 1 big chance created. The goal itself might have been a penalty, a cheeky Panenka down the middle, making it 18 of 18 for the season. But what I found most impressive was his ability in transition. The prime example being in the 61st minute, Gyökeres picking the ball up with so much space to run into, driving towards his player, then firing off a shot at lethal pace that could have broken the post. This is what Viktor Gyökeres is all about, looking at space, identifying it and running into it. There are a lot of Arsenal fans asking the very same question: would Gyökeres have that same space for Arsenal? And the answer is no. With Arsenal placing low blocks on a consistent basis, Gyökeres would need to adapt. But you also have to realise how many more teams are there in world football that play low blocks as much as Arsenal. No matter what striker you then go inside, Gyokeres, Sesko or Isak, they will all be used to playing in more space. Think about Man City and Erling Haaland, a striker that has thrived at Man City, a team that also faces low blocks. He was a player that was signed from a team mainly based on transitions. But City saw the fundamentals of a player that could still thrive against low blocks. That's where it then falls down to Arsenal. Because in terms of technical ability, as Gyokeres showed in the 34th minute, driving at his player, cutting inside, then bursting on the left. Despite having a very bulky frame, he definitely has a lot of technical ability. When you then compare him to Arsenal striker this season, Kai Havertz, not only does Gyokeres have a far higher open play expected assist, but also look at his post-shot XG added, levels above Kai Havertz, showcasing an ability to make the most of limited scenarios. If you think about the superpower of Viktor Gyökeres, for me it has to be his shot power. So according to reports in the UK, Arsenal and Sporting have already started conversations for a deal involving Viktor Gyökeres, which was then confirmed by the very reliable Hand of Arsenal. An exclusive revealing, Arsenal have now been granted permission from Sporting Lisbon to explore personal terms with the camp of Viktor Gyökeres. With his agent being a long-term friend of Mikel Arteta, he will now discuss the key factors on the player side with Andrea Berta, with Berta pushing for Gyokeres to be strongly considered to lead the Arsenal attack next season, interest that was first reported by David Ornstein. It is crucial to stress though, Arsenal are merely laying extensive groundwork for what is a strong candidate. The new sporting director wants to ensure the club have multiple options to choose from when the time comes to decide. From all the reliable reports, this seems to be an Andrea Berta-led deal, with Fabrizio Romano even confirming that has appreciated Gyokeres from his time at Atletico Madrid. Arsenal will have options come this summer, with the reports claiming that Alexander Isak is the dream, but it looks like the key mission for Berta is laying the groundwork, getting deals in place, personal terms sorted, so when the time comes to pull the trigger, Arsenal will have a host of options to pick from. For now though, the focus turns to Saturday, as Arsenal have another massive game in the Premier League, this time at Goodison Park against Everton. The final time that Arsenal will be going to that stadium ever, with Everton set to move to their brand new stadium next season. For Mikel Arteta, he will have a few massive dilemmas. The first one regarding Bukayo Saka. After a star return against Fulham, scoring a goal after just 6 minutes, will the Arsenal star boy be starting in this game here? A chance to grow in match sharpness ahead of the gargantuan game against Real Madrid. And will he start alongside Mikel Merino after another goal against Fulham, making it 6 goals for the season? According to WhoScored, since coming on as a striker against Leicester, no player in the Premier League has a better shot conversion rate than Mikel Merino, a whopping 36.4% from 10 plus shots. I do find it mad how the narrative has changed. For a player that people thought was struggling in midfield, never having played as a striker his entire career, he actually does show quite a few good fundamentals, an ability to drop deep and link up play, alongside threat inside the box, to fire off a shot as soon as possible. By no means is he the perfect striker, but you think about the second Arsenal goal against Fulham. As great as it was for Saka, a tremendous assist from Gabriel Magalhães, Merino also played a part, bursting forwards and firing in a cross. As fans, we need to give this guy his flowers. A makeshift striker that is doing his job, showcasing the ability to score important goals. But then you think towards the Arsenal defence. With Gabriel ruled out, what's going to happen with Ben White and Urian Timber? Will they be fit and available? And even if that is the case, will Mikel Arteta rest them? With the game against Real Madrid being the priority, after Liverpool beat Everton on Wednesday, going 12 points ahead of Arsenal. Despite us having a game in hand, they are now 4 wins away from a title. As much as Mikel Arteta has never denied it, the title race is close to being over. So will he then use the Champions League as a priority? But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy on all of his social media, then the links are down below in the description. But that was all of your latest Arsenal news today. As a trip to Goodison Park approaches, the one thing I'm begging for, I'm praying for, is no more hamstring injuries. So my friends, I'll see you guys next time. Take care and in a bit.